All right, Jennifer Nettles, Coat of Many Colors.
Yes.
In your world of country music, really in any kind of music, Dolly Parton is just a legend. Tell us about what she means to you as a musical artist first.
I mean, well, first of all, as you mentioned, Dolly Parton is iconic, and not just in country music, but in general throughout the world. And she is so well loved. She is obviously talented as a writer, as a musician, as a singer, as a businesswoman, as an actress. All of the above. She's done it all. So for me, I think she is one of the women in the biz to emulate, especially if you're looking just within the country music world and people who have continued to diversify outside of that. So I love who she is and what she's done, her music, and obviously her career on the whole. And it's pretty much one of those things, because she is so iconic, that when you get the call and you answer and they say, "Hey, Dolly Parton," you just say yes. Whatever it is, you just say yes. So I was pretty thrilled whenever I got the call that they wanted me to read for it, and then especially thrilled that they were wanting me to play the part of her mom, which is a big deal also in and of itself.
What sort of advice did she give you or others give you on playing her properly?
Well, I think Dolly gave me the best insight of all, and obviously it is, it is the role of her mother, and that in and of itself is a pretty sacred relationship that I really wanted to be able to pay honor to and tribute to her mom. And so I had a chance to have a conversation with her and say, how was she? What was your relationship like? What was her personality? Just to dig in a little bit more deeply than what I was already able to learn through the script. So basically the biggest piece that she gave me that I think for me was the biggest connection and click was when she said, "I'll tell it to you like this. My mama was me without the glitter." And I thought, okay, so she was sassy and she had some spunk to her, and she was funny, but she knew when to get serious, and maybe all of that without so much of the makeup and the glitter, as Dolly said. But I thought that was a wonderful illustration for me of who her mom was.
You've been in the business a good while now. Of course, Dolly's been in it for decades. Had you met her a good while back?
You know what? The first time I met her, I believe, was at a tribute that VH1 was doing for Reba McEntire, actually, and Dolly was on the show paying tribute to Reba too. And I met her first there in a rehearsal. So that was the first time that I had met her, and then had run into her on and off a couple of times in between.
The reactions to this movie, the ratings of this movie were unbelievable. What did you hear those first few weeks?
Unbelievable, babe. I mean, look, here's the thing. When you're involved in something like this and you're in the moment and you think, oh, this feels pretty special, it did feel special in the moment. Like we were creating something that had not only beauty and levity and gravity all at the same time, but that it just felt that there was something special about it. You think that, but you never know how it's going to be received until it's put out there into the world. And I was blown away by the response, really. I mean, that it broke so many records, and the reaction to it was as exciting as it felt special while we were in the moment.
And now you're all going to gather again in a few weeks.
Yes, right. I know, and do the sequel, which is amazing, and I think is going to be. I think it's going to be fun for the audience to get to see another part of this story. I think what's so intriguing is not only is it some of the background and the history of such an iconic entertainer as Dolly Parton, but it also it has heart to it. It is a story that has heart, and we get to I think feel touched in a way that maybe sometimes, especially as we're in a world that seems to be a bit more cynical, that we don't always allow ourselves to really luxuriate in, and I'm excited to be able to offer that, hopefully that and more.
To me, one of the breakthrough stars of the year was Olivia's performance
Oh
as
my.
young Dolly. What did you think as you were acting opposite her?
I was blown away by her. I mean, she not only did she capture what I think that essence and spirit of little Dolly, that personality was, and Dolly has said so herself, but she is just such a little professional. She is so fast. She is so quick. The things that she was able to do and access within herself as a 9-year-old girl, to me it was pretty amazing getting to watch her work, and you really feel like, I think when you're around children like that at such a level of talent, I think you recognize that you're in the presence of something that it's going to be amazing to continue to watch her career.
You really, I mean, it wasn't like they threw you in the short end of the pool here in terms of acting. I mean, you had some emotional scenes
I am
you had
telling
to pull
you.
off. How do you come up with that?
You know what I mean? You never know until you're really in the scene and how you're going to pull and what you're going to pull. And I mean, obviously, whenever you're reading it, you can tell that it's going to be emotional. But what is going to come out in you? For me, I did not know. But I was. It feels a bit like a roller coaster. You're like, all right, let's see where this is going to go. I think for me, in being a mom now and understanding that level of vulnerability of what it would be. I can't even imagine to experience such a loss. I think that for me was really resonant. And what it would feel like to to be a mom and to experience that. And since then too, the responses that I've gotten from fans who have actually gone through that experience and the comfort that they took in that particular part of the movie, in that performance of really, I think, feeling seen and feeling represented in what they might have experienced, I think has been super, super rewarding.
And once Dolly saw the movie, what did she say about her mom?
Well, she said a couple of things, and what she said to me that I think was the most flattering really was that she said, you were my mama in this movie. And she wrote me a letter whenever just recently, whenever we had finalized everything to the sequel was going to happen, and she said, you did such a good job, and I know that you're going to be able to take this part, even if this sounds just like her, to the moon, and maybe you can meet mama there and she can thank you herself. So I was like, all right. Of course I saved not only the email, but it took a picture of the email so that I could always have it for posterity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A couple more questions. We're an awards website. Tell us about your first big awards experience.
Wow. Well, which in what way? I mean, obviously that would have been in the music.
Let's say your
world
first award show that you attended.
First award show. It would have been probably one of the country award shows, and I don't know if it would have been ACMs or CMAs. I had an interesting, as fate can sometimes have it. The first time that I went to the ACMs, we weren't scheduled. This was at Sugarland back in the early beginning. We weren't scheduled to even present or anything. And then we got a call that someone had gotten sick and could we, come on and present? And we were like, yeah, sure. And then we got another call that said someone else had gotten sick. Could we come on and perform? And so just like that, there we were performing Baby Girl for the first time, on television. So that felt a bit like being shot out of a cannon, suddenly going from, well, we were just going to show up there to now we're performing and debuting our first single on an award show. So that was an amazing experience, and I always love the energy that surrounds those shows too. Since then I've had the pleasure of attending not only the music award shows in terms of country music, but also at large in terms of popular music right now, the Grammys and the Billboards and the AMAs and those and also the Tonys. I've had the pleasure of attending those. So yeah, I love the energy that surrounds those shows, that it is about celebrating the greatness of all that's been produced through that year.
And your Grammy win, your first Grammy win among several?
My first Grammy win was actually with Bon Jovi for country collaboration, and I did not even expect, I had no expectations, and suddenly I got, as a matter of fact, I didn't attend those awards, I just attended some of the festivities around it and got the phone call with Bon Jovi in the elevator with me that we had won, and I was absolutely floored.
Those are in the afternoon before the
Yeah.
main ceremony.
Yeah.
Let's let people know you weren't just skipping the Grammys.
Yes, no. Yeah.
And one of my favorite things you've ever done, maybe nobody ever has brought it up in terms of like an interview, but the time you were on the Kennedy Center honors, honoring Bruce Springsteen, that was unbelievable.
The people ask me all the time what in my music career has stood out so far for me and it had been a highlight or when I really felt like I had made it. And there are a few things that I list, but I did 2 Kennedy Center performances. One, I got to honor Bruce Springsteen, and I sang "I'm on Fire" with Ben Harper, and the company that I got to keep as far as me myself being a fan of music and looking over, and there's Sting and there's Eddie Vedder, and just being blown away. My mind was blown then. And I also got to honor Neil Diamond, which was amazing too. So those shows are definitely special in the way that they highlight and really honor, as the name says, the art that we do in the performing arts in this country.
Well, now you're on the Emmy ballot this summer. Maybe we'll see you for an
Wouldn't that be
acting award.
amazing? I would, you know what? I would be so honored. I would really get a kick out of that. I think, for me, I always just try to make decisions organically in terms of art and what feels right to me in my gut and what feels either like it's going to help people, heal people, or entertain them and make them laugh. And I took this on because I felt it was special, and the fact that it has gotten the response that it had, the fact we're doing now the follow-up, the sequel to it, the fact that it is even being considered as a possible nomination, I'm blown away.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.